Good afternoon. So my name is Pierre-Paul Routier. I'm the mayor of the city of Châteauguay. I just want to explain some of the consequences of the budget that was voted last Monday by the City Council of Châteauguay. There's a lot of talk about that budget. People are saying that we're increasing the taxes by so much and so much. So here, this is the facts. First thing that you have to understand is the assessment role of the whole community, the whole number of houses, buildings of all sort that we have in the territory of Châteauguay. The value before the position of the new assessment rule was $4 billion, $800 million, $695, $299. After the new rule, the assessment, the total is $5 billion, $129, $416, $300. That being said, if we want to have everything on an equal basis, the tax rate that we had in 2019 was 97.23, 123.41, 194, and so on. If we had the new rule in 2019, this would have been the actual tax rate. Instead of 97.23, it would have been 91.50. It would have been 115. I just want to show you that this rate, those rates over here, applied on the new rule will give you exactly the same amount of taxes that you're paying. And I'll show you. You have here an example of a house that was listed before at $243,700. The tax rate that I showed you was 97.23, and the other tax, the small tax for the ACUSIC, was 0.177. The new rule has a medium increase of 6.42, will bring the value of that house from 243 to 259,400. The tax rate that we would have to apply in 2019 would have been 91.50 and 115.3, which means that this house was paying a total tax of $2,413. Would have paid $2,413. You understand? The assessment rule has changed, so we have adjusted the tax rate in order to reflect precisely what the value would have been, the total value. I'm not talking of single house. I'm talking of total value that would have been like that. Now, that being said, we need to have an increase in our revenue. We need to have an increase because we're stuck with collective bargaining that are forcing us to pay 2.5% for the firemen, the policemen, for our blue collars, for our white collars. Everybody around the place over here have a salary increase of 2.5. The cost of living increase from October 2018, to 2019, 2.3%. So that means everything that we're buying out there in the market is costing us 2.3% more. That's why we need an additional revenue. So what are we doing here? We have the new rule. We have the rate without any increase, the rate that I just talked to you about, 91.50. We are increasing those rates by 2%. The actual tax increase is 2%. So we had now revenue before new tax adjustment of $56,280,357. After the tax increase that we voted, we will have an increase revenue to $57,530,000 and $412, which is giving us $1,250,055. That's the net increase in revenue that will be provided by the actual tax of the people that we had in 2019. I told you that we needed an increase. Before leaving the subject of the assessment rule, I just want to show you the actual consequences that new rule will have. This is the division from electoral district that we have, District 1 to 8. If I take, for instance, as an example, only District 1, there's 853 houses, immovable buildings that will either stay still, have the same value as it had before, or diminish in value. And there's 1,366 properties that will increase in value. Let us take district number 5. There's 1,005 properties that will either stay still or lower, and there's 602 properties that will increase. I have to show you that so that you can understand that when I'm talking of a general average increase of 6.42, it doesn't mean that every houses will be affected by 642. No. Some of the houses will be affected a lot larger than that. Here's a look. If I take again, this is the electoral district cutoff. If I take district number 1, the actual revenue increase that we have in the assessment, not the revenue increase, the assessment increase is 7.25 in that district. Some houses, though, in that district have a 30% decrease, 33% decrease. Other houses have 63% increase. I don't know how many houses will have 60 or more, and I don't know how many houses will have 30 or less. What I'm trying to tell you is that the impact that will be felt by the individual will vary quite a bit. Unfortunately, we have nothing to do on that. That's an outside evaluation firm that did that. It's called Yvain Beck. And when they deposit their roll, if I take the whole average of everything over here, we have a mean of 6.42. But again, if I take over here, district number 3, variation minus 22 to plus 50. The one that has a minus 22 there in his evaluation will have a tax decrease. He will not come and tell me nothing. But the one that has a tax evaluation of 50% may have a tax increase substantially higher than the 2%. And I know that this individual, this family will come and complain. And it's just normal, it's okay. But let me tell you how this tax evaluation is being done. The assessment is done either by making an analysis of the cost to rebuild your house, or by making another evaluation of the actual sale of properties around your house. So if your house was worth, let us say, $100,000, and every property around you is sold for $200,000, well, the evaluation will probably raise the value of your house from $100,000 to $200,000. That's the way it's done. Other thing that I want to show you that will also affect your tax statement, the amount that will be claimed by the city to you, is what we call the tarification. Tarification is what is being charged on a per house basis. It's not in relation to the value of your property. Each house has the same amount to pay because it's for the water that we're drinking, it's for the water that we have to clear out before throwing it back to the river, it's for the garbages, it's for the recycling, and it's for the organic matters that we are now collecting. For the drinking water, we had before a rate of $237. It's costing now $253. It is costing that. I mean, I have nothing to do in that. That's what it's costing. We have, by law, the obligation to charge you what it's costing us. To clear the water, before it was costing us $311, now it will cost $322. And I cannot say, oh, I won't do it for district number 1 and number 2. I have to do it for everybody. That's the actual cost. The garbages, the recycling, and the organic matters, that's being charged to us by the MRC. We're receiving an invoice. I cannot say, no, we'll not pay the invoice, because otherwise we'll lose the whole service. So the garbages was costing us $129. Now it will cost us $106. It will cost us $20, $23 less. Why? Because they're collecting only every 2 weeks instead of every week. So it's costing us less. The recycling was costing us $64, it's costing us $77. Why? It has to do with the Chinese who doesn't want to accept anymore the newspaper or the different paper that we had and they were sending over there. The organic matters was costing us $17 for 3 months, September, October, November. No, October, November, December, 3 months. Next year we'll pay for 12 months. The increase is $43. Tarification Régie Beau-Château, that's the sportplex and also the outdoor pool that we have in Beauharnois. You can say whatever you want about that, but let me tell you that I have nothing to do with that. The council, the actual council, has nothing to do with that. We're stuck. We inherit this complex because it was a decision made by the previous administration. And now, this year, it will cost us $87 per house to be able to afford this beautiful sportplex. Which means that 2019, we were collecting from every house $796. 2020, we'll be collecting $905 because it's costing us $905. Unfortunately, every houses will have a increase that will appear on their tax account of $109, and it will be an increase that you'll have to suffer. Let me just talk to you about the overall situation of the revenue of the city. I told you that the increase of 2% in the tax rate is giving us $1,250,000 and $55 of increase. New values that we expect to have in 2020. New houses, new commercial buildings, new industrial buildings. The city is now growing back on a growing scale, I would say. So we expect to have $885,000 of new revenues. There's some indebtedness that we had for different small debt. For instance, a sidewalk in front of a house or something like that. So we call that a sector in the area, okay? So we're lowering that debt. Some of that debt will finish by itself. So it's $92,000 less. So we'll have an increased revenue because of taxes of $2,043,000. Now, the tarification, the tariff per house, will bring us $1,774,000 with a total increase of $3,800,000. I want you to understand that so that, you know, whatever people will say, when you will be receiving your tax, again, some of you will have probably an increase in the area of about 20 to 25%. And it's not the tax raise, it's the value of your house. You know, if you, for instance, if you go out and you buy a Lincoln Continental and you want to change a tire in the Lincoln Continental, you'll see that the tire is a lot more expensive than if you buy a Hyundai. You know why? Because it's a bigger car. It's a more expensive car. In all parts, every parts of it will be more expensive. Well, that's exactly what it is. When the value of your house will increase that much, I'm not saying to sell your house, no, but I'm just saying that you have such a value. You will be either able to get a loan on the house, get a mortgage on it, you can make it in cash if you want. But that's up to you to decide. What I'm saying is that we have to charge the taxes according to the value of the house. And overall, the total value of the houses in Châteauguay is increasing 6.42, and we are increasing the tax rate by 2%. So that's one thing. Now the assessment roll, the evaluation roll, that's another thing that we're not playing with. That being said, well, if you have heavy consequences when you'll receive your tax account, feel free to come to the city. We will be able to give you all of the method that you have in order to be able to contest the assessment that you will receive on your tax account. Thank you.